Hi everyone. Hi Shri. Hi Vijay. Good evening. Good afternoon. Good evening. Welcome everyone, and thank you so much for joining us for today's session, which is Ask Us Anything. And we are all from Madhi Foundation. My name is Sugandhi Krishnan, and I'm part of the People and Culture team at Madhi. Our vision at Madhi is foundational learning first, so every child can thrive. Today we have with us Vijay Lakshmi, who is our Chief Operating Officer and co-founder. And we have Srivatsan, who is our Chief Program Officer and co-founder. And we are going to be talking about what we do at Madhi, the values that we hold dear to us at Madhi. And we're also going to probably look at what type of different roles, etc., we have at Madhi currently. So those of you who are interested can also kind of go ahead and explore the options. So welcome. Thank you, Srivatsan, and thank you, Vijay Lakshmi, for making time for the session today and being with us here. Uh, I really look forward to an hour of discussion about what we do at Madhi and what inspires us and what we look for in our team members at Madhi, right? So thank you again for being here. So I think I just wanted to kind of get us started by understanding or just what we do at Madhi. Srivatsan, I think if you could probably share for everyone what we do at Madhi when we say that we are solving for foundational learning crisis. What do we actually do? That would be great.
Um, Good afternoon, everyone. It's lovely being here today. Thank you so much, Sugandhi, for the warm welcome. So I think what we do at Madhi, I think this question is quite difficult to answer, but I'm going to take a crack at it beyond just saying that foundational learning first, so that every child can thrive. I think at Madhi, I think we embody the philosophy of problem solving, and we look at the foundational learning crisis as a complex and a wicked problem that requires not only a strategic approach but also a multi-layered, a multi-stakeholder approach to solving as well. So, to put it very simply, I think over the years our learning has been that there are supply side gaps as to ensure FLN at scale, and there are also demand side gaps. And what I mean by supply and demand here is basically that supply is everything to do with the school system. How does the child learn? How does the teacher teach? How is education administered, monitored, governed? All of that comes under supply. And what goes into demand is basically how aware are parents as to what children are expected to do, what steps can parents take towards engaging with their child's learning, etc. And I think we at Madhi we believe that we need to solve the problem from both ends systematically to be able to ensure large scale transformation. And that's probably what we're trying to do uh, with the project that we implement in Tamil Nadu.
Thank you, Shri. And I think it's great that you elaborated that we also want to look at the demand side really to solve the problem and just probably assuming what kids need or let's say what the system needs and just working on that may not really solve the problem at the core, right? And we would want the community, the parents, the peer group where the children are actually thriving to also be aware of this problem and work with the children to solve for this. And I think that's just beautiful, and which brings me to I think the next part of the conversation where I just want to understand, like at the supply side and at the demand side, as Madhi, what type of project programs we are actually working on that we believe can address this issue. And I think let's probably spend a couple of minutes discussing those projects.
So I think when trying to describe about the projects at Madhi, I really like to take the notion of what we typically internally call as projects that are in an engine mode, and projects that are sort of like labs that we are doing. So engine mode projects are basically projects where our theory of change and what we want to do and our point of view is fairly evolved over the years. and we are confident of where we need to get to in a 3, 5, 7 year sort of a time frame. But we're trying to learn from the operationalizing of the project at at a certain scale and scope, right? And then we have the lab projects, which is our 0 to 1 journey, where we are basically piloting fresh ideas towards solving the foundational learning crisis. So, Madhi is the chief management partner of the Enumeratum mission in Tamil Nadu. And that project is one of our engine projects in the sense that we have been working on a supply side intervention that's holistic and comprehensive in its scale and scope for over the last 5 to 6 years in Tamil Nadu. And Enumeratum mission is a culmination of all that learning that we have been able to roll out with the support of the school education department. So, Enumeratum mission is a 5 year mission. We are which broadly encompasses the 60 model, uh, as we like to call it internally, where the 60s are basically working on the TLMs, that is the books and materials that children used to learn. Then the training, how teachers get trained and how do we improve the quality of in-service teacher training. Then we have tracking, which is about improving governance mechanisms at scale. Tutoring at home, which is about how do we make learning spaces meaningful at home for children. Targeted communication, which is about improving the awareness of the foundational learning goals in the ecosystem so that we are able to rally all stakeholders behind a unified goal. And lastly, the sort of a horizontal in this is the technology, where we look at using technology meaningfully to implement this mission. So that's sort of on both the supply side, and it's also an engine for us. Outside of that, we have another supply side intervention called as Enjoy English. The primary aim of Enjoy English is to be able to put put forth, I would say, product service offering that allows for, I would say, meaningful and engaging English language learning inside the classroom, and that allows for children to learn not only at their own pace but also converse very fluently in English. So that's something that we have been piloting, and it falls under what I earlier defined as the lab. It's a part of the kind of work that we do at a pilot and a learning stage. And then on the demand side of the intervention, we have um, um, the communities enabled for foundational learning, which is dubbed as Vidum Virupum in Tamil Nadu, which is a demand side intervention where we work with parents and communities very closely to understand how to improve their awareness of the foundational learning goals, build agency in them to take small and meaningful actions at home or in the community space, and then build them into advocates who are able to not only rally others but also rally resources to improve the quality of FLN in their community or village. So that's sort of what the Vidum Virupum project works towards. And I think this is a broader outline. We also have a series of, I would say, spin off or upstream, downstream projects that we implement in partnership with the school education department that have either a direct or an indirect linkage to the enumerative missions. I think that's in a nutshell what we do at Madhi.
Thank you so much, Sri. And just want to understand when, especially the Endumeritum project, I think a lot of us would also want to know the actual scale at which we are operating. Is it every district? Like, if you could give us a little glimpse into the scale of the project that we are working.
Yeah, definitely. So, enumerative mission is something that we are implementing across, the school education department is implementing across all 38 districts in Tamil Nadu, which involves all the primary schools. That is about 37,000 primary schools working with over 1 lakh teachers and 2.7 million children. Enjoy English, the scope is to work with about 10 classrooms, 300 children, and about 10 teachers. And Virum Virupum, we are currently working with about, I would say, 500 parents spread across uh, two units. That is one rural and one urban. Overall, about 7 to 8 villages. That's sort of the scale and scope of the Virum Virupum project.
Got it, got it. I think
Yeah.
when I'm listening to this, I'm also thinking to implement and execute such large scale programs. And I think that's where we need uh, people who can work with us, partner with us, and join us at Madhi and take our vision forward and solve for this crisis. I think, and which is why I think a lot of times when people want to join Madhi or spend time understanding Madhi and the cause that we work for, I think one of the most asked questions or thing that people actually ask is, uh, yeah, it's great to be able to work in an organization that's working for a cause and at this scale. So we would like to know more about Madhi and what culture really means at Madhi. I think when we are solving for all this problem, for people who join us and partner with us to solve for this problem, also want to know what our culture is at Madhi, what values we hold dear to us. And I think I would actually probably redirect this to Vijayalakshmi, who's here with us, and just like to understand what does culture really mean at Madhi for us when we are actually working towards solving, for foundational learning crisis through all these projects.
Sure, thanks, Sugandhi. Thank you, Srivatsan, also for just setting the tone and providing a brief insight about what we do as an organization. So I think culture at Madhi, I'm reminded of this quote by Aristotle, right, which we also use with the team quite often, where we say we are what we repeatedly do. Right? Culture may seem to be quite intangible when we speak about it, in times such as these, but I do believe that it really is something that can be concretized by really saying that what are some everyday actions that we do that really contribute towards building those habits that eventually form a part of a culture of an organization. I think at Madhi, what really stands out to me as far as Madhi's culture goes is really, I think we might be different individuals with different sets of principles and ideals and philosophies, but like Srivatsan mentioned about the different projects, right? Like we are focused on solving one problem, and that is tackling this foundation learning crisis. And I think despite having different ideals and philosophies, we are somehow united by the shared vision that we are working towards, and really our commitment towards saying that, hey, I'm sure we can do this together. I think that really is what at least for me, sets Madhi's culture apart, and it's something unique at Madhi from what I've observed.
Yeah, and I think in line when we are speaking about culture, Vijay, thank you for actually sharing that. It's about having the small habits that I think eventually become a pattern, and then it becomes a holistic culture, like a way a whole organization behaves. It's not just each team
Yeah.
member or individual, and then through that, I think beautiful synergies kind of happen. I think what we would also, I think. Love to probably understand more is when we say culture, and obviously at Madhi we have an understanding of what builds culture, right? The core aspects of what builds culture at Madhi. So I would love to hear more from you about the values that we hold dear to ourselves at Madhi, principally on the values on which I think we build our culture, if I have to put it that way.
Absolutely. I think just going back to what you shared, Sugandhi, before I touch upon this question, right? I think you very rightly said that I think it's individual actions that really make up the organizational behavior, right? And which is what culture actually means. And I think this is the fundamental premise with which we operate at Madhi as an organization. So I just wanted to call it out. Thank you for making that connection quite evident. Going back to Madhi's values, I'm actually reminded of one of the team members who joined us new, who said, "Oh my God, you have so many acronyms at Madhi, some 50 to 60 acronyms. We should really start, having an acronym document at Madhi that is a part of our onboarding kit." So I'm again reminded of the acronym that we use for values at Madhi, which is MERI, MERI. M is for mission obsession. Really, I think mission obsession as it speaks for it, right? Needless to define, it just says that how obsessively are we really tackling the problem that we're trying to solve, right? It's what mission obsession is. E is for empathy. Empathy is really putting ourselves in somebody else's shoes, be it a team member or the organization itself. How do we really think from somebody, a different person or a different entity's perspective? That is what empathy really means at Madhi. R is for resilience. I think the work that we do is extremely hard. I think the scale that Srivatsan just spoke about makes it even more harder. And I think the work that we do definitely needs a certain degree of resilience, that never give up kind of an attitude. That's what resilience is. I is for integrity. I think we mean what we say and we stay true to our word. And that's just how we stay committed at Madhi. That's integrity. And I, the second I is inquiry. Yeah, MERII. I is for inquiry, where we really try to question and understand things, right? Like where are certain things coming from? Can we, just deep diving into anything that we do, any decision that we make with the spirit of inquiry and being open to learning, and being open to different perspectives. So that's really what inquiry drives. So these are core values at Madhi, Sugandhi. As for your question on, I think how we live by them at Madhi, I think what we've done is we've codified these values. We have a culture code at Madhi that we've designed, which very clearly states what each value means. Well, like what I spoke was just a gist, and it very clearly says what each value means in our organization and what are some exemplar actions that can really draw parallels from the values that we're speaking about, and what are also some behavioral flags or really actions that we should be cognizant of not showcasing when it comes to displaying these showcasing these values. I think we are I think that is how we try and live by them at Madhi, by trying to put some structures and some sort of concrete examples and actions on how to really live by our core values.
Thank you, Vijay. And I think, it's been a year for me at Madhi now, and I think one of the things that stood out to me was also the culture code and the behavior, and also because we developed the culture code together as a team as well. And I think it is so true, and it also resonates with each one of us individually, in addition to it being a holistic organization culture code, right? And I think that is something beautiful. I think I adore at Madhi personally, which actually kind of brings me to this next question, which I want both of you to probably take a minute to probably share with us. What does it really mean to be part of the Madhi team, right? Like, I would love to also hear your experience so far. I know both of you have had like more than 5 years and a really long journey with Madhi so far. So, what does it really mean to be part of the Madhi team for both of you? Shri, if you could get us started, and then we'll probably go to Vijay.
Um, yeah, quite hard to summarize very succinctly, but I think for me, at a very personal level, what it has always meant uh, to be a Madhi employee is problem solving and hence maybe mission obsession. I think the kind of uh, I would say the focus that we have as an organization and as teams to solve the problem is something that I haven't witnessed in my prior experience, and something that made me fall in love with Madhi. And I think that's something we hope to continue as well in the coming years. To have that, I would say, drive, and to ensure that the what we're trying to do is it works for the last mile child, right? Having that working at scale, but having that depth of the perception that is required to get there. And I think that's really what drives me, and I think that's what it means to be a Madhi team member. Yeah.
Thank you, Shri. Vijay, what about you? What does it mean to you when you say I'm part of the Madhi team?
Yeah, I can specifically quote an instance that I have experienced at Madhi, right? So in 2015, I applied to Madhi soon after my fellowship, and When I had applied, I think the hiring process took its time, and rightly so. Which we will be discussing soon, I presume. So I got emails and with with the HR signing as team HR, right? It was not CEO, it was not Malia, it was not the name of the HR written, but Team HR was written as such in the offer letter and things like that. And I think somewhere that really set the tone for me, right? Like I've never seen organizations that really exemplify camaraderie or even teamwork as Madhi has, right? So for me, that really stood out, and ever since then, I think every single instance has only reiterated my belief in really knowing that it's incredibly hard to solve this problem individually, and it's very important to work together. But the level of mission obsession or the level of resilience that we need to have to tackle whatever uncertainties come our way. So I think for me, what it means to be a Madhi employee is, I think for me, it's a privilege. I would definitely say that. It's definitely an incredible privilege. I feel very privileged to be a part of this team. And yeah, I think I keep saying this to team members whenever I can. I don't think it's a privilege that we will ever take for granted at Madhi. And I'm sure I speak for all of us at Madhi.
Thank you so much, Vijay, for sharing that. I think two things as I think for me as an organization, when I look at it, and I'm a part of the Madhi team, I think uh, one thing that stands out to me is resilience, but I would also like to call out empathy as a value that I feel a lot of our team members or all of our team members, right? Like that I have interacted with. The only reason I said lot is because I have not yet probably really worked closely with every team member at Madhi. But I think everyone that I have worked with, I think empathy really stands out to me. And when I say empathy, why I want to probably share that is it we are resilient, but when we are resilient, I think we also understand that at times we need to be empathetic towards ourselves, the organization, and everyone around us, because the type of work we do, the rigor with which we operate, right? So many projects, and especially with so many stakeholders across districts, etc. And I think resilience and empathy, like for me, if you ask me what it means to be a part of Madhi team, is just that you probably embody both these skills yourself, and it also means that I think as a person it allows you to also, along with a lot of resilience, be really empathetic towards yourself and also look at things, uh, I don't know, a little bit more with care. And I think at no point we lose our sight on why we are doing what we are doing for the children of the last mile child. And I think even there we are empathetic towards our cause at all times. I think so these things for me stand out as a Madhi team member. And I think that's what it means for me when I say that I'm a part of Madhi team. And thank you so much, both of you, for sharing. I think it was beautiful. Individually, I think we may not have caught up to really discuss this over the past 1 year, but then it's great to know what it
Yeah.
really means for both of you to be a part of Madhi. I think now a slight twist, right? Like from both of you are, a chief program officer, chief operating officer, and I think just to very simply put, I think both of you are a part of our senior leadership team, and I think something that team members wanted to know, and something the last time also did come up was what is it that you value in Madhi team members as a part of the leadership team, right? So both of you could probably give your views. I mean, I will probably start with Shri, and we can go to Vijay as well.
Um, I think two things. I think one thing is that I think if we keep talking, maybe we'll just cover our core values as we keep explaining these scenarios. But I think what I value, two things I value. I think one is resilience. I think I've never been more, I would say, inspired by a bunch of people as I have here. Extremely privileged to be a part of such an amazing team that faces. very, I would say, uh, difficult and different odds. Each one of them have very different and unique challenges when they are working in, let's say, a very small pilot, or working as part of the system and working within the system, etc. And I think in many ways we are standing on the shoulders of giants, I would say, like our team members, because it's I think without them and their resilience, we would not have gotten as far as we have. So I think that's something I value a lot. And I would say the second is uh, the breadth of innovation that the team brings to the table. They're in a, it's very easy to feel, I would say, demotivated or even jaded when you're working year on year on systems and processes, and and working with the government comes with its own challenges as well. But having that lens of I would say innovation always inspires me. The way they are able to think even in the most stressful situations and come out with some, I would say, innovative ideas to solve problems. I think it's mind blowing, and I think that's extremely grateful to be a part of such a wonderful team. Yeah. Uh,
Thank you, Shri. Vijay, what about you? What are the things that you hold?
I think
Value.
when you told me a couple of things also stood out to me. I think, but I don't know if I might be really paraphrasing what Srivatsan just said, but it really is the truth for me. So I think for me, the first thing is being very agile, right? As a team that's working in uncertainty, it's like I already said, it's very hard, and it's harder to constantly be able to think on your feet. Think of different strategies, come up with strategies on the spot to really be it a difficult conversation you're having with the stakeholder, be it a donor, be it a government officer. I think it really takes a lot to be able to think on your feet, be smart, be tactful. And I've seen that the team has over time really embodied change as such, right? Has embraced change. So I think that being agile and being able to constantly adapt and learn as an organization that's just witnessed, a massive growth since last year. I think it's incredible to be a part of such a team. So that's definitely something I'm very proud of, to be a part of this team. I think just change agility and that ability to adapt and learn. And I think the second thing may seem cliched, but I will say it nevertheless. It's just the passion, right? I think whoever you meet, irrespective of the function, irrespective of their role, one thing that I do come back with as a takeaway from that conversation is really that passion that really drives individuals to do what they want to do, right? I think that's the only thing that can keep us motivated, especially during hard days. And I'm just so happy and so happy and proud to be a part of the team that brings passion so effortlessly to whatever task they do, be it a monotonous task or be it a humongous task. I think the level of a commitment and passion that they show is just remarkable.
Sorry. Thank you so much, Vijay, for sharing that. Thank you, Shri. What I think we would love to now probably share with our audience is we have spoken about what work we do, what projects we do. We've also spoken about what values we hold dear. We also understood from you what we love to see or what we really value in Madhi team members. And I think before we go ahead and talk more about the type of talent at Madhi that we have, I think just wanted to understand what do you guys think should we do slightly differently as Madhi in the future or more? Right? If there is anything, I will leave it up to you. But do you think we can do something different or something more in the future? What do you guys have in mind, Shri?
I think it's something we should continue doing is to be curious about the problem. I think it's very easy to feel that we have tried it all, we have tested it all, but every solution has a time and place. So maybe something you tried a few years back was not timed properly, and maybe it's more appropriate now to do it, right? Like before COVID, if you were to say, "Hey, I'm going to use IVRs to teach children," people would probably laugh at you. But now people are willing to listen to you, right?
Yeah,
So every innovation has a time and place. So it's very important to continue to be curious about the problem or the world around you, and I think we should continue doing that. In terms of, and I think that will lead to something new that we would need to do anyways. So yeah.
got it. Thank you, Shri. Vijay, what about you?
Yeah, I think just I think we've always, in that sense, for me, it's empathy, like really trying to understand things from everyone else's perspectives and being open to considering different perspectives. And I think that really ties down to the different social problems that we really like to solve. I'm not really saying foundational learning is the only social problem that we're looking to solve as a team, right? Maybe it's something different. It's just to know, not be wedded to a notion or an idea, and be able to think big and keep the problem at the core of whatever it is that we are trying to do, and of course the people that we are trying to solve it for. Yeah, I think that's something we definitely continue doing.
Thank you so much, Vijay and Shri, for sharing that. And I think now we will deep dive, right? For all this type of work, for all that we do at Madhi, obviously we want more and more people to be a part of the Madhi team. And through the year, we also do hiring, and a lot of team members join us. And also, a lot of team members are just part of the journey as well, right? And they are curious to know more about Madhi and what type of roles we have at Madhi, right? To solve for this problem as an organization. I'm so sorry. Yeah, to solve for this problem, like Shri was sharing, right? We have a supply side, we have a demand side, and in on both these sides, we have different projects working with different type of stakeholders, really, right? And then we have a core team at Madhi also, which is your other functions like your finance, your people and culture, your partnership, communications team. So I think what we would love to now probably share with our audience is what type of roles do we have at Madhi? Uh, feel free to share. I think I'm not sure if Vijay or Shri, which of you want to take up this question, but I leave it up to you. Vijay, if you would love to share, or because both of you, I
Yeah,
think, equally handle, yeah,
sure.
team
I can
members.
take it back, and maybe I can just explain the structure of different verticals, and maybe Srivatsan can deep dive into
Sure.
role-specific requirements, right? I think from an organogram perspective, from an organization structure perspective, the different verticals we have at Madhi um, are towards for programs. It's towards looking at the demand and supply side that Srivatsan spoke about. So at Madhi as an organization, we have three broad verticals: the people, culture, operations vertical, the PCO, the programs vertical, and the partnerships and communications vertical. Right? These three are the three major verticals under which we have various sub verticals and different teams working in each of these sub verticals, right? So, so we have a program design and delivery team that anchors all programmatic aspects of the pilots and the labs that Srivatsan spoke about, be it a Freedom Curriculum project that tackles the demand side of the problem, or an Enjoy English, which is a product delivery model. That's something that comes under the ambit of the program design and delivery team. And we also have the state reforms vertical, which specifically looks at the enumeratum and its ancillary projects that we are working with the school education department in. The Tamil Nadu Education Fellowship is also a part of this state reforms team, so that's the second um, sub vertical. And we also have a technology vertical where we look at IT, data, performance analytics, performance management, and these kind of roles. So that is another vertical that we have within the projects That's another sub vertical that we have within projects. Under the people culture operations vertical, we have the people and culture team. And we also have the operations team, which takes care of finance and admin functions. And we also have the partnerships and communications team, which looks after stakeholder engagement, donor management, fundraising, and communications overall. So these are the broad verticals and sub-verticals. And Srivatsan, maybe if you could deep dive into the roles that we currently have.
We have an entire span of roles open. I mean, beginning from, I would say, at an associate level, I think, where we expect people to have 2 years of work ex to leading a sub vertical. We still have one of the associate director roles open as well for the data analytics and performance management sub vertical within projects. So obviously, I won't go into specifics of each role, but maybe to give our listeners a flavor, and we have openings in the curriculum work that we undertake, which involves research into different curricular frameworks, building a lot of interesting and engaging content, developing workbooks, handbooks, and creating a host of material for the parents to engage with. So all of that is done by our curriculum and content team. So we have some openings in that team. We also have openings in our capacity building team, which is around training and which is about thinking through the strategy for the stakeholders for whom we are building capacity. And this is not only teachers, we also build capacity in the fellows that were part of the Tamil Nadu Education Fellowship that Viji spoke about. And it's also about building capacity within the team as well. So I think all of that falls under the capacity building sub vertical. And then we have openings in the data analytics team. We're looking for people who really love to deep dive into numbers and are, I would say, our number geeks. We're looking for you. So if you are one, do hit us up and we will definitely work something out for you. And I think lastly, we are looking for quite a few project managers who can lead and anchor the work that we do with the department as well. There are some openings there as well. Uh, so it's basically anything under the sun. So if you know to develop content, hit us up. If you know to manage a project, hit us up and we'll work it out for you. It's a very exciting time and space to be at Madhi because we are, as I mentioned earlier, we have a couple of engines that are really strong, and we are building a few pilots and labs into engines in the next couple of years. So a lot of learning to understand what it really takes to solve the problem at scale. So if you're interested in that, I'm sure we can work something out for you. Yeah.
Got it. Thank you so much, Shri and Vijay. And I think I would just want to add that I think at Madhi, we have, uh, for all the roles that you mentioned, Shri, I think a lot of them are also stakeholder facing, or let's say state facing roles as well, where we work directly as partner with the government, and we work out of the DPI office at Nungambakam. And we also have roles which are not so heavily state facing roles, which are more individual contributor type roles when it comes to curriculum or capacity building. Also just putting it out there because I think someone had asked last time when we did the session that what are do we have to work from the office, or do we have to work, when you say government stakeholders, do you have to work from the government office? So I think I just wanted to add that bit. So I think in all these roles we have both these type of roles available and openings available. And I think it would be great if you all have any questions, etc. I think please put it on the comment box and we'll take it up as well. And if you all want to actually know what roles are open and you want to know how to apply, you can go to our website. There is an apply section and we have an application form that you can quickly click on and apply to. Yeah. So I think which actually brings me to kind of the next question that I think people wanted to know more about was, Vijay, probably you can address this question, or we can discuss about the process together. But they really wanted to know how the hiring process at Madhi works, right? And what is our onboarding process like overall? How will it be for someone new who's trying to understand Madhi through the hiring process as well as the onboarding journey? So if you have
Uh,
some insights, would love to hear. Yes, Shri?
Vijay, very quickly before you take the question up, just want to say that look at the application form. Please don't worry about the role title or the years of experience, etc. If you think you have relevant skills, just go ahead and apply. We usually take a best effort basis to ensure we find the right fit. So, for all you know, some words may not be applicable to you. Don't let that stop you. We are looking for the right fit at an individual level. Yeah. So leaving it out there.
Thank
Vijay,
you.
please go ahead.
Yeah. Just before Vijay goes, I think what I'll do is I'll quickly put the link of the application form here in case some of you who are watching us live, are interested in applying. You can also apply. Vijay, go for it.
No, I think I'd love to keep it our conversation Sugandhi. But we can definitely chat about hiring process and we can get started. Please feel free to chime in. I think hiring process at Madhi, I can definitely explain it, but I would also like to share a couple of things that we've heard from team members who have been recently hired. Right, we try and keep hiring process as tight as possible. When I say tight, with respect to timelines, right? We are in a hurry to really solve for the problem that we're looking to solve, which cannot be solved without finding the right people. So in that sense, we work at a certain pace when it comes to really closing out applications, and that's something we try and and ensure with every single application that we receive. So we have been, it's been shared with us that time it takes to close applications is definitely something worthy of being called out, and it's definitely something that I want to share here. So if you are looking to apply, like Srivatsan said, please just apply. All we're looking for is a will and a skill fit. Yeah, just wanted to call that out. Please don't look at how much time it would take and things like that. We are quite responsive in that way. And yeah, I think the second thing is, I think as far as our interview process goes, what do you think are core aspects that really form a part of our interview process? What are some principles upon which we are even designed our process?
So I think just two basic things, right? One is obviously to give every person a great experience to our hiring process, and also to give as much clarity and details as possible for someone to make the right choice, so for someone to make their decision to join Madhi, right? We try and provide as much clarity as possible, and I think these are two core principles, which is why our JDs are so detailed. We try and provide as much details as possible about the organization, a bit about the culture as well, and the role. And it's not just a list of responsibilities. It gives you a view of how the role will pan out, right? And in terms of the process, and I think coming from a personal experience, Vijay, I'm not sure if I have shared this through the year, where regularly, or I don't know, I may have not shared this, but my hiring happened in a span of 3 days, right? And I'm not sharing this because we are doing a YouTube live, but my hiring was actually just 3 days, and I got my offer on the fourth day. So I think the rigor with which we kind of focus on in terms of all our process, etc., that is also a part of our hiring process. Obviously we have a screening, we have an initial introductory call to really understand about team members, we have a pre-work round and a final interview round, but also we try and understand and probably not spend too much time in between these rounds so that the candidates can have a beautiful complete holistic hiring experience, right, to the end. And it's also quite rigorous. I think that's something I wanted to share. And I think when you asked, I think I'm just going to club it slightly with our onboarding and induction, because once we hire, I think there is a period before the candidates join when we also ensure that they have the necessary things to join, especially when candidates are relocating, etc. We have team members from the people and culture team actually taking care of those team members, having multiple touch points, ensuring they are comfortable and their journey and the transition to a new city is smooth as well. We try to do that for those team members. And I don't know, I would look like we kind of club the whole hiring journey with a beautiful induction and onboarding, where I think our onboarding program, the first 2 3 weeks are more about, I think, just understanding Madhi, our values, and the organization, right? Meeting with the leadership team, other team members, going through all our policies, etc. And then our 6 month induction plan actually kind of gives an immersive experience to team members, right from being able to be on the field also, observe and learn as well, and also understand our work closely, and work closely with their peers and managers over the first 6 months to really understand Madhi and the projects. And I think it's just a seamless process when I kind of look at it, Vijay. And I think it's something that team members have also shared with us in the past. So I think I just wanted to call it out when you asked me.
Yeah, okay. So, Gandhi, I think you kind of set the benchmark slightly unrealistically high when you said it was about 3 days in which we close your rollout. Just putting a disclaimer out there, this
It's a
I
rare.
really hope we're able to replicate it for all future roles, Sugandhi, but let's try our best. Anyway, I think completely aligned on all aspects when it comes to hiring process at Madhi. I think it's definitely a robust process in the sense that each section of each phase of the hiring process takes a certain amount of time and has been designed consciously that way, right? For example, if we have an application form where we quickly gauge the team members fit into the role that they are looking to apply for, right? We ask a couple of essay questions where they share what they think, what they believe, and I think what they believe about their role and how they think they can perform the best of their abilities in that role. I think from the application form to the screening call, where we again touch base directly with the team member over a conversation, right? We call the team member, ask them for their motivation for even applying to the role and what they think about the role and anything else that they would like to learn about the role. I think that's also there for a certain reason, which is to slightly deep dive and understand from the candidate about their requirements and needs, right? And I think in this phase is where we really look at bridging the gap as far as the candidate's expectations on various aspects that were called out in the JD and the roles needs go, right? We try and bridge these aspects during our screening call itself. And I think post which we have a pre-work round, which is quite technical in that sense, depending on the role and the function that the candidate will be applying for. And we have the interview stage, right? In the interview, and I think the interview process is also quite elaborate. We have a conversation with the candidate for about an hour and a half or two. Sometimes we've even spoken for about 2 hours when we really want to deeply understand where the candidate is coming from and to definitely ensure we're doing justice for their interest to the role, right? So I think and with the interview process, I think we then have a one-on-one conversation with the PCO team, with which we then roll out the offer. So I think end to end, the process is quite robust and has been designed with quite intentionally that way. So yeah, just wanted to call that out.
I
Thank you
think I
so
just
much.
want to call out one caveat to what Vijay said. There are interviews that have been for 30, 45 minutes as well. So a long interview does not mean a good interview necessarily. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So
Thank you for that. I think it's just been caveats and caveats. What Sugandhi said and I said. Thank you, Srivatsan, for bringing that up.
because I think overall, what I would say is that what the PCO team has tried to develop through the entire process as someone who's using the tools, like rather than the one who's putting it together, which is what Vijay and Sugandhi do. I feel that it brings in a lot of objectivity to the kind of decisions we make, and it allows us to really, to go beyond let's say, hey, how do you think the interview went? It went well. So it's not about that. We have very clearly and sharply defined tools and rubrics that really allow us to take an objective call between candidates and hence make good decisions. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Shri. Thank you, Vijay. And I think what we'll now do is we have a couple of questions from the audience, and I think we'll take them up one by one. Um there's someone who has asked us any possibility of opening remote options for curriculum design and content development roles. Uh, Shri, do you want to take this up?
Yeah, sure. As I said, Sharon, please go ahead and apply, and we will make sure that we are able to accommodate to the best of our abilities. As such, the content roles are mentioned as in person in the JD, but we would be more than happy to explore remote opportunities as well. So please go ahead.
Yeah. Thank you, Shri. And we had actually rolled out a form, and we have Madan Rajshekar who has asked us three questions, and we'll take that up. One is, what is the minimum criteria to join Madhi? Uh, Vijay, do you want to take that up? Or-
Sure. Yes. Thank you so much for taking the time to ask that question prior to the session. Yeah, I think minimum criteria as such, it really depends on the role and the function. And like Srivatsan said, each job description really has a certain set of prerequisites that the team members need to have, and the competencies, the skills, and what will make them thrive in this role really are also things that are quite explicitly mentioned in the job description itself. But that said, if there are aspects that you think out of 10 parameters, if there are just like 4 or 5 that fit your bill and maybe the other 4 or 5 don't, please go ahead, apply. We can figure something out in
yeah.
the course of our hiring process.
Thank you, Vijay. And I think, in addition to that, the other question that Madan has asked, what is your expectation while you do initial screening of an employee? Uh, I understand it's a generic question, but if there are thoughts around this that you want to share with Madan.
Sure, I can. I think from I am speaking as someone who looks at applications day in and day out. I think what we're looking for is really authenticity, being yourself. I think the first stage is the stage where maximum applicants get screened. So I think in that's the that's really the funnel defunneling phase at Madhi where most of the candidates get rejected. So I think what is important is to be honest, be yourself, and be authentic. Like if just say what it is that's really motivating you to apply for that role, and there are sections in the form itself that allow you to speak whatever it is that you want to share. So please take a detailed look at what the form asks and be yourself really in responding to each of those to the best of your ability. Just be honest and be authentic. That's all I would say.
Thank you, Vijay. Shri, did you want to share something?
Just to add, because Vijay was talking about your application form screening. Uh, I mean, we honestly don't want to hear like Madhi is doing great work, really inspired by the work that you guys are doing, want to be a part of this fabulous team, etc. Right? I mean, what throughout the entire process, be it screening or the interview, the only thing we are really really trying hard to do is get to know you better as a person. So the more you are yourself, the better the chances that you will um, get through. So yeah, so I mean, it doesn't matter. Even if you say that, hey, I don't, you're critical of our work. To be very honest, one of the people who we had hired to lead our programs at one point in time actually was very critical of our program itself. But they were an excellent fit in the organization, quite frankly, because they were curious about the problem, and that was far more authentic and important for us than saying that you guys are running the best program in the world. Hey, no, we know that we're not, right? We are here to learn, and I think that's what we want to see in the applications as well.
Thank you, Shri, for adding that. And I think Madan, after these two questions, he has asked, how do I go ahead and apply? So, Madan, the link is right there on the comment box for you to apply. And also, feel free to go through our website, which is www.madhifoundation.org, and explore all the roles that we have. There is an apply section in addition to an explanation of what we do as Madhi. And if you actually, sorry about the background noise, and if you actually go to the apply section, you will have all the job descriptions, all the roles that are open across different verticals, and every JD also has the application form link as well. So just please go ahead and apply. And as Srivatsan said, if you just want to apply and then see where it goes, the form is still out there. You can select role and you can mention in the comments that you're open to exploring multiple options, and we will take it from there. So I think apart from this, we don't have any live questions anymore, and it is 3:55. Also, we have probably 1 or 2 minutes to wrap this up. So thank you so much, Srivatsan and Vijay. How did it feel to just come and talk to the audience and do a YouTube live, guys?
Vijay, you want to go first?
Sure. If I were to talk to the candidates, potential candidates or team members who are viewing on YouTube Live, I think the this session in itself from 3 o'clock to now is really a microcosm of what our of what interactions look like at Madhi, right? Like we try and bring warmth, we try and bring humor and fun to whatever it is, and I think these are traits that really keep us going when it comes to work, when it comes to solving the problem that is as hard as our foundational learning devices. So, yeah, I think thank you so much, everyone, for listening in, for tuning in, for being curious about what it is, what Madhi is about, and to learn more about the work that we do. Thank you so much for taking the time. Yeah, look forward to seeing a lot more applications.
Yeah, it was an absolute privilege to be here. Thank you so much, Sukandi and Helena, for organizing this. I think it was great to get the opportunity to uh, talk to potential members of our team, and I hope we have managed to nudge them over to click the apply button.
Absolutely. And I think, Shri, you said that, and Sharon has just replied this. Thank you. I've been holding off because of the location specification since the very first time Madhi opened for hiring for curriculum. So I think, Sharon, please do just send us your details on the application form, or you can also just write an email to us at apply@madhifoundation.org. Helena, if you could just put that on the comment. For some reason it's not letting me access the comment box. So Helena, please put apply@madhifoundation.org, and please feel free to send us an email, guys, directly here as well if you're interested, and we will send you the application link. Thank you so much, Shri, and thank you, Vijay. Thank you, Helena. And I think I also thoroughly enjoyed just chatting with both of you. It's rare that we just take out time to talk about Madhi together. Instead of just, I think with agendas, meeting, I think we do a lot of them, but this was lovely. A different type of meeting, but it's good to know, I think, what we think is Madhi. And I think a lot of the audience also wanted to know, since we advertised Ask Us Anything, and we had those questions that we wanted to share with them the responses to. So thank you, everyone, and we'll see you next time with more updates or a different type of session, and we'll meet you again soon. Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you. Thanks,
Thank you.
Sukandi. Thanks.
Bye.